Hey guys, Ben here. Welcome back to another live stream. Hopefully you guys are doing well today. It is quite late today, so hopefully some of you guys will be joining us. I have missed out on the last few streams. I apologize. Just wasn't well last week, and so things just didn't work out in terms of timing. So I decided, okay, I'm going to wait for next week, and that's when we're going to do the live stream. So here we are today. Right now, it's just me. It's just going to be me in this live stream. I couldn't get anyone on today. However, I will be in a live stream later with Pagey on his channel. So be on the lookout for that. And also, yeah, welcome to everyone that is here. I see Nathan is in the chat as well as Path, and I see some of you guys are also here. I don't know who specifically, but almost 11 p.m. Yeah, it's almost 11 here in the UK. Yeah, I'm in the UK. Willie Jackson, a member of the channel, was here. Welcome, Willie. Nice to see you back. Leah from France is here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, guys, for those of you who normally join us, you know how these live streams go. But if you are new here, let me explain what's going on. So, I'm going to be talking about the latest Flash, latest DC news, and Superman and Lois obviously is like our specifications. Like, yeah, we mainly talk about the Flash and Superman and Lois, but we will be talking about HBO Max. There was some news this week, and also there is some Superman news in terms of the film that is coming out in the next few years. So we do have quite a lot to talk about, and obviously I'm going to be going through my topics bit by bit, discussing it with you guys, and I want your input, so please be sure to continue messaging in the chat as we go throughout this live stream. If any of the topics pique any of your interest, please be sure to send in super chats. You can send in super chats by clicking the $ underneath the chat, and you'll be supporting the channel, but also I'll feature you on the stream just like this, like Willie here, a member of the channel. And yeah, so thank you once again, and let's go ahead and jump right into it. So for those of you guys who aren't up to date, well, we didn't have any DCTV shows this week. It was totally weird. I got completely tripped up last night. I actually stayed up to watch Superman and Lois, and it turned out it wasn't even on. I should have saw it at the end of last week's promo, but for some reason it just didn't hit me until it was too late. And this morning I went to be like, can I watch the new Superman Lois? And then I checked the promo for last week's episode, and it said coming out next week from now. And I was like, oh shit, like I totally missed that. So yeah, no Superman Lois this week, no Flash this week. Obviously we all knew that the Flash wasn't on because they've been on a break for a couple of weeks now, but Superman and Lois will be back next week. And obviously we do have to look forward to the Flash's episode 9, which is going to be a big episode for the Flash, the return of Green Arrow, the return of Kid Flash and Diggle and everyone. So that's going to be a very exciting episode, obviously for a lot of reasons that are quite obvious. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about Superman and Lois, because as I said, new episode next week that we saw the promo for at the end of last week's episode. So you kind of know what you're in for. We're kicking things off, obviously, after that big reveal at the end of last week with the Bizarro reveal. So it turns out Intergang now have access to Bizarro's body. We can presume they're probably going to try and bring him back to life using, the techniques that they've been using recently. But there's always the chance that maybe they just harness his DNA or harness whatever's inside Bizarro in order to, perfect their cure or whatever they're working on right now. Obviously, it's not been like fully touched on, but obviously Bizarro is not Superman. He is an alternate version, a bizarre version of Superman, I guess you could say. And so that means it's not going to be exactly, like Superman. So whatever they do, I think it's going to be twisted in some way. And that could totally lead towards what people are expecting. People are expecting for us to have maybe Doomsday by the end of the season, and using Bizarro's DNA, using his blood, using his structure could definitely cause some big complications. And I can see something like Doomsday actually becoming a real thing because of them using, Bizarro instead of Superman, but wanting it to act as the same way as Superman's DNA would react. So, expect complications is what I'm saying. And I think you guys are kind of onto that. I should definitely make a video pretty soon about the potential of Doomsday, because loads of people have been speculating about it for a long time. And I think it's about time we address that because of what's going on with Bizarro right now. Obviously, hopefully we get some more answers as we go into next week's episode. But yeah, we have a question from Willie Jackson. Willie says, is Bruno going to help Lois or try and kill her? So I think he's playing a very tight game right now, because it's like he obviously can't just kill her out in the open. And he's warned, if she jeopardizes his mission of, saving Metropolis, saving his area in Metropolis, he will go, as far as he wants. And so I think Lois really has to toe a line and find a good place to kind of park herself, because she could really get in some serious danger, because we know that Bruno Mannheim is not going to be afraid to step over some lines, unlike Lois. Lois obviously has her boundaries, and she's not going to do like crazy stuff just to stop Bruno. Yes, she's going to go to, big extents to try and stop him, but she's not going to go crazy and kill him or something. Or you wouldn't think she would do that. Yeah, I guess you never know. But yeah, so that is my answer to that. Thank you for the question, Willie Jackson. And if any of you guys have any other questions, send them in the chat, whether it's Superman Lois related or not, or if it's related to anything else, please be sure to let me know via Super Chat or in the chat, and it's up to you guys. But let's talk about the new Superboy suit. So we got a new look at it, and this I'm going to pull up on the screen. We have a photo here on a Krypton site. So there you go. This is a photo of Jordan in the new costume that he was given by his granddad in a previous episode. Obviously, this costume is very early days, like it's completely not a superhero costume. It's just, for him to stay incognito in some way, and that's, I think, the whole point about this thing. And so you can see here, it looks like it's completely covered in mud. So it's almost like he's gone out in the field, he's got pretty much shredded, and everything's gone kind of sideways. And so that's why maybe he is completely coated in mud, and he's got his suit off, and you can his cowl off, and you can see his face here, like it's covered in mud over here. So I think something's gone bad, but this is him in the suit. This is a proper first look, because in the previous episode he actually didn't wear the suit, which was interesting, despite the fact that they introduced it the episode before. But now we're going to be seeing it in this next episode next week, so I look forward to it. And I'm presuming he's going to go out with his dad, and they're going to try and do some superheroing together, I guess. Obviously they have had their complications as of recently working together, because Jordan steps over some boundaries that Clark is not ready for him to step over yet. So that's what's going on right now. Let me know, what do you think of this costume? Obviously, it looks like it's covered in mud, so this is not, the proper good look. However, this is what we're getting. It's very simple, very sleek. Well, not really sleek, but just really simple, and just trying to keep him, a bit incognito, especially if he has that mask on and he wears the goggles and everything like that. Which I think is going to look cool if he has the mask and the goggles, because Superman obviously doesn't have a mask, and he doesn't in the comics, so it's going to be cool to see Superboy wearing it. So yeah, that's what's going on with Superman Lois right now. If you guys have any other Superman Lois related topics you want me to cover, please be sure to let me know. We're going to be moving on to the Flash here, because we've got some new photos. I'm sure you guys have seen these photos, but I definitely think it's interesting and we should cover it. I made a video on it. Maybe you guys saw the video or you missed it. Go check it out. It's on the channel right now. But we have this new awesome photo. I'm on Flash TV News right now of Grant and Steven, and they are fully suited up in their Flash and Green Arrow costumes. This is epic. Like, I'm so looking forward to this episode. I'm sure you guys are too. If you want any other videos to do with this, please be sure to let me know. Like, if you have any theories, I'm definitely down for it. Just before we continue with this, Nathan has a Superman Lois question. It would make sense if Doomsday does come into it, since the government had it to Clark's blood, which I bet Lex stole, and has made a clone Superboy, and we have Steel already and the Eradicator. Could this be a Reign of Superman storyline? Yeah, I'm not sure about the Reign of Superman storyline. Like, I guess it's possible. But yeah, we don't know who stole the blood. However, someone clearly got into the DOD just like they did in the last episode, and I believe that's just how they got the blood. Not sure if it was Lex or not. I guess that just remains to be seen until we see Lex. But yeah, it would make sense if Doomsday did come, because they're doing experiments. Doomsday normally, or at least, in various iterations, has been an experiment that has gone wrong, whether it's on Krypton or Earth or whatever. But it's normally related to Kryptonian DNA and it going completely haywire. So in this case, if they harness Bizarro's DNA and his body and try and bring him back to life, like, he could totally turn into a Bizarro type villain. But yeah, thanks for the question, Nathan. Path says, what do you think about Superman and Lois having already dealt with some of the characters at the beginning of season 1, be it Bruno or even main cast like Lana, have a history pre-season 1? Are you talking about the retcons? I'm okay with them. Like, I've accepted them. They've made it pretty clear they don't really care about Arrowverse continuity. So yeah, I'm okay with it. Like, the Bruno Mannheim actor, he was on Arrow. He played Tobias Church. Maybe you guys remember that. He was really good, but he's really good in this role too. We've seen other characters, Lucy Lane, she was on Supergirl. She's been retconned. But yeah. Okay, so let's just go back to these photos. So this is awesome. Like I said, like, them fully suited up. They're going up against Bloodwork in this episode. I need to get off of this. Hold on. And they're going to be facing down against Bloodwork. And we have one more photo that I wanted to show you guys because it's really cool. Here you go. There you go. It's kind of cut off a little bit. There you go. You can slightly see Kid Flash there, Diggles here, as well as Green Arrow and the Flash. So excited for this episode. This episode is going to be so hype. Obviously, this is episode 9. It's my party, and I'll die if I want to. This is, the big episode that everyone's been waiting for, and it's coming very, very soon. It's coming on the 26th of April. That is in exactly 1 week's time. So right now it's the 19th. It's a Wednesday. It's going to be next Wednesday, guys. Next Wednesday night is episode 9 of season 9 of The Flash. We're going to be seeing the return of Oliver Queen in that episode. Oh, can't wait. Okay, we have our first super chat. Thank you very much, Terrence Matthews. I don't know why I said your name the opposite way. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you. Terrence says, I would prefer if the interludes was one less, so the last story could be 5 episodes at least. I have to completely agree with you, Terrence. I agree. I feel like this last season, they should not have contained their main stories to 4 episodes. That's way too short. You need 5 episodes minimum. Like, I think realistically, a graphic novel should be like 6 episodes at least. So you have enough time to introduce, have a middle part of the story, then have a conclusion. Because with 4 episodes, you have introduction with, the first episode. The second episode is, kind of not halfway, but getting there. And then the third episode is really when you got to have all that action. And the fourth episode is the conclusion. And I think that's way too short. I think there should be at least 6 episodes for a graphic novel. But that goes, sadly, because they only have 13 episodes, The Flash, this season. I guess they had no choice. But they did have the choice to not have so many interlude episodes. So I agree. I think they should have sacrificed some interlude episodes. And the only really necessary episodes was the obviously this big crossover episode because everyone's excited about it. And then also I think they should have kept the Nia episode because that was key for Iris's character development. But like the Becky Sharp episode was a complete waste of time. I agree with you there. So I believe they should have had like 2 interludes maximum, absolute maximum. I feel like it's just it's a waste. And I felt like Red Death needed 2 more episodes or something. And I believe we're going to feel very similar at the end of this season. And I think that's just sadly a detriment to the way that Eric Wallace has been handling The Flash. Like, I think he's done a good job, and I don't want to diss on Eric Wallace because, I think he's done what he could with the show. But I think the graphic novel format, yes, it theoretically works if you have more episodes. But I think having 13 episodes, trying to have 2 main villains in the season, it just doesn't work. 13 episodes should be 1 villain the whole season. Maybe you have 2 filler episodes or interlude episodes, but you continue with that same villain. That's how you do it, and that's what Superman and Lois does, and it works. It works. It's a proven formula. I don't think they should have had 2 villains in this final season, considering it's 13 episodes. Like, I understand wanting 2 villains in a 20-plus episode season, like last season, but I disagree with this. So I'm in agreement with you, Terrence, that I would have preferred if the interlude episodes was at least 1 less or more. I think it should have just been 2 interludes this season for sure, the very maximum. And more time for those last arcs. But thank you once again, Terrence, for the super chat. I really appreciate it. And if any of you guys have any other super chats you want to send in, please be sure to send them in now because I'll be sure to answer them. They can be to do with The Flash. They can be to do with Superman Lois or anything that you want to ask me. I'll pop them up on the screen and we will talk about them in the live stream. Willie Jackson has another question. Here's another question about The Flash. If Grant Gustin is not returning as his character, what would happen to the legacy of The Flash going forward? Well, we're going to have to wait and see what the Flash film holds for us. Hopefully I get to see the Flash film pretty soon and I get an insight into what's going on, and hopefully Grant shows up. We have no idea if he's going to show up, but that's what we're all hoping for. But in terms of the future of the Flash, it's really down to the people in charge of DC, like James Gunn. Are they going to continue making Flash films after the Flash? Are they going to have a new Flash TV show at one point? I really think they should do it like a Kid Flash or a Flash family show with like Bart and Nora. That would totally be what I'm all in for. But I think there is no control of the legacy of the Flash right now, but at least the TV show has been good, and I think that legacy will continue on despite the show ending. Okay, guys, so yeah, let's move on to the next bit. So I've talked about the photos, they're very cool. We have a new synopsis for The Flash Season 9, Episode 10. This is the episode after next week's episode. So this is coming out on the 3rd of May. I'm looking forward to this episode. It's the first episode of the final graphic novel, The Flash. It's called A New World Part 1. I'm going to read out the synopsis to you guys. So, live in the moment. As Iris receives word of a career milestone, Barry is suddenly nowhere to be found. In trying to get back home, Barry runs across many familiar faces. Keone continues to figure out her powers, and Chester works on a suit for Allegra. Eric Wallace directed this episode, and as I said, this is episode 10 of season 9. So this is Eric Wallace's episode. take that as you will, if you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, but he's directing it, and this is going to be a very crucial episode, because this is where they're going to be introducing this new story, this new graphic novel, and they really have to hit the ground running. I think even more than Red Death, more than just a teaser at the end. We need to get maybe a bit of an insight into Cobalt Blue's plan and what exactly is going on. Obviously they're not going to reveal all their secrets. They're not going to throw that hand out there straight away, but we got to get some sort of, better way to go into it than they did with Red Death, in my opinion. So, as it says at the start of the synopsis, Iris is going to be receiving a word of a career milestone. We all know what that career milestone is. That career milestone, of course, is the Pulitzer that she's been kind of stressing about all this time. We've had lots of talk about it in the recent interlude episodes. So, obviously, that's going to be a big thing for Iris. But in the meantime, Barry is suddenly nowhere to be found. So, he's going to try and get back home, but he's missing. Barry's missing. So what the hell is going on in episode 10? Well, it seems because Barry somehow is missing, and he has been maybe sent back in time, because we've seen photos from behind the scenes of Barry back in time in and around like 2000, and that is roughly when Nora was killed in the past, when Reverse Flash went back and killed Barry's mum. So we've seen behind the scenes set photos of our Barry, played by Grant Gustin, looking like his normal self right now, back there with Barry's mum and dad, who are alive. Obviously, they're both not alive in the present day, so you can tell it's time travel. And also, Eddie Thawne is back there. So do we think we're going to see them back in time? I think we are going to see it in episode 10. And there's obviously going to be some explanation for why Barry is suddenly nowhere to be found. But, he's going to have to figure out as he tries to get back home. But along his journey to get back home, he's going to be running across many familiar faces. Who could those familiar faces be? Well, I've just said a few of them. That is definitely his parents. So that's going to be Michelle Harrison and John Wesley Shipp playing his parents respectively. And then also, we should be seeing Eddie Thawne in this episode. So Rick Cosnett should be back. That's another familiar face. I think we're going to see some characters in the past that obviously we know. So I think we're seeing a young Joe as far as I'm aware. So Jesse L. Martin should be back, which is very exciting. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on in that episode as far as we know. The side stories are that, as it says in the synopsis, Keone figures out her powers. Maybe she's going to figure out. Maybe she's not. Who knows? They're dragging out that story a bit. Chester is going to be working on a suit for Allegra. I think it's about time. They actually talked about this recently in an episode that Allegra is a bit scared of if people figure out that she is this hero that's been going around. But again, she's not like too much of a hero. She only goes out when Flash needs help. So she's not like a hero by herself who's going around saving people. She only goes out when it's necessary. So I feel like that's why she hasn't been exposed yet, compared to like when the Flash first went out, or when like Arrow first went out, because they were by themselves. They were, probably putting themselves out there. But Allegra isn't that type of hero right now. We have another super chat from Terrence Matthews. Shout out to Terrence for the second super chat. I really appreciate it. Terrence says, I miss Jessie. I really liked her character. Which Jessie are we talking about? Oh, wait, Jessie L. Martin, or you said her character? So are you talking about Jessie, the character in the show, the speedster? Let me know what you were saying, Terrence. I might have missed what you were referring to. But yeah, they're the only two Jessies I can think of. Jesse L. Martin, the actor, plays Joe. And then also Jessie from the show. So I miss Jessie if you're talking about the character. So the speedster, we haven't seen her in a while. So yeah, Jessie Quick is definitely one of the best characters that we've had that wasn't like a series regular. She just, regularly appeared basically. as a recurring character. Willie says Jesse L. Martin, he's really returning for the final episode, just like Mikhail Brooks in the Supergirl finale. Yeah, well, Jesse L. Martin, I think he's in like a couple of episodes still to come. Like I said, I think he's in episode 10 as well as maybe the finale too. But yeah, shout out to Terrence Matthews for the second super chat. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And if any of you guys want to support the channel during this live stream, once again, the best way to do that is by sending in super chats by clicking that $sign underneath the chat function. So yeah, shout out to Terrence for those super chats. I appreciate it. And once again, I want to remind you guys, Wednesdays we are live streaming. I was ill last week. That's the reason why there wasn't a live stream. But we should get back on it regularly. So hopefully you guys join me week to week every Wednesday before The Flash comes out. Obviously, The Flash is not on this week and after Superman and Lois has come out. So this is our time slot for now. And let's move on to some final topics. And once again, if you guys have anything you want me to talk about, let me know and I'll be sure to chime in on it. Nathan says, what if Jessie used the negative speed force before Crisis to escape the antimatter wave, using her anger for the Flash for not helping her? That would mean she is alive and still out there. Oh, I mean, that's a bit out there, Nathan, but, you know, it could totally happen. Like, you never know with the Flash. Yeah, Jessie, as far as we know, is supposedly dead because she was on Earth 2 during Crisis on Infinite Earths. Or Earth 3, I don't remember. She was training on Earth 3 for a little bit. So it remains to be seen, but we all presume that she's dead. So I don't know, like, I guess there's a chance. But as far as I know, Violet Bean, who plays Jessie Quick on The Flash, I don't think she came back to Vancouver during filming because obviously they wrapped a while ago. So yeah, I'm not gonna say it's likely that she's coming back, but yeah, definitely miss. Like, I feel a lot of us are in the same boat where we liked the character, and it would have been cool to see her one more time. But I guess it is what it is, and at least we get Kid Flash back next episode, and you know we get to see Green Arrow again. That's super exciting. But yeah, okay, let's move on to the next thing and. Reminder to send in those final super chats because we've got a couple of last topics and I want you guys to chime in on this because there's some juicy topics. But yeah, we're going towards the end of the stream. It's going to be maybe 15 more minutes of the live stream and I will be streaming on Paige's channel later. So if you want to see me there, come later. But for now, let's continue with this. So it was just announced the other day that HBO Max is changing to Max. They are renaming it to Max. So they've taken away the HBO. I personally think it's a bit ridiculous, if you ask me. Like, I don't think there is any value in changing it from HBO Max to Max. Like, I'm going to get the announcement up. But I think it's a bit stupid. Oh, look, I found something. This is a Elizabeth Olsen show. So their show premieres April 27th on HBO Max, or by then it may just be Max. And so they start laughing on air, which I think is funny. But there you go. This is the rebrand from HBO Max to Max, where you can find HBO stuff. So it's super weird. It's just like, I don't know, just a bit useless, really. Like, obviously it doesn't like necessarily affect our shows, and you know, if there's potential DC shows coming to Max, you know, as they change it. But yeah, like, I don't think there is any benefit. I think, yeah, it might have been more benefit to change it to like the Warner Brothers network or Warner or something like that. But instead they choose Max. That's weird. Like, you would think they would go with HBO rather than Max, or they would go with Warner instead of Max. Anyway, so that's what's going on with that. I thought that was weird. Yeah, so that's just some stuff on Twitter that I thought was interesting, and I want to hear your guys' opinions on it, because I think just renaming it is like, yeah, like you say, Nathan, it's like renaming iPlayer to just player. It's not the I, it's the player that's the big thing. No, it's the iPlayer. It's like BBC iPlayer, just take away the BBC, right? Just doesn't make sense. Like, yeah, you might have a nickname. Oh, it's Max, not HBO Max as a nickname, but I don't think you say, oh, it's Max, and let's take away the HBO, because that HBO is doing us no good, and I just don't think there's any benefit to it, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, so that's kind of what's going on over there. Don't think it's going to affect the shows too much. It's just a rebranding. They've already cut back on certain shows and certain things that they don't want to do. And obviously that's been very clear in terms of the films, the DC films, and different TV shows. And this doesn't really link into the CW, but you've seen Titans ending, Doom Patrol ending, so it has had some effect, I guess, but not a major effect overall. Let's talk about Superman Legacy, because James Gunn, I'm going to put it up, he has posted a teaser for Superman Legacy, because apparently it's going to reportedly film in January. This is on Discussing Film. So this comes from Heroic Hollywood. So apparently Superman Legacy, which is going to be written and directed by James Gunn, this is the new Superman film in the new DCEU, will reportedly film in January in Atlanta. Atlanta's an interesting place for them to film Superman. Like, I presume it's set in Metropolis. I would have thought they would have filmed somewhere else, but that's fair enough. Here we go. This is what I wanted to show you. So this is what James Gunn said. It was Superman's anniversary, because Superman Day yesterday, I believe. And he says they're diving fully into early production with costume design, production design, and more now up and running. This is his script that he posted, Superman Legacy, written by James Gunn. So new Superman film, obviously. That is a lot to get excited for, especially since James Gunn is in charge of this new DCU. So this is clearly going to be a pretty pivotal film in terms of the way that he wants to shape things for the future of the DCU. Yeah, what do you guys think about that? Are you looking forward to Superman Legacy? Let me know. I'm very curious to see what you guys think. Kenneth says, "Happy birthday, Superman. 85 years old. Clark, you never look better." That is true. Maya says, "Can't wait for this movie." Yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a really good film at the end of the day. I think James Gunn makes good films. I don't think he's like the best director ever, but I really enjoyed Peacemaker. I really enjoyed The Suicide Squad. So I think he's done good with DC. We're just going to have to see what he does with Superman. Like, what's his vision? Because obviously he is writing it himself, which it gives me some sort of confidence, because he's taking it on himself rather than like giving it out to someone else. Like, I would be confident if it was like a really good writer and director that he gave it to, but it's good that they didn't just throw it away to like a random writer, because DC in the past has historically sometimes gone to just screenwriters who don't direct, and they're just like, yeah, write us a film, and if we like it, we'll like it, and we'll make some changes before we start filming it. But yeah, so I guess it gives me some sort of confidence, but at the same time, we'll have to wait and see. Like, I'm looking forward to this Superman film. But I think that pretty much does it. So if you guys have any last questions or topics you want me to cover in terms of Superman, Lois, and the Flash, let me know in the chat right now. And if you have any final super chats, please be sure to send them in. All I can say for now is I think we're in a pretty decent spot. I hope with the changes at Max, I hope there is a space for DC shows, and I I hope that Superman and Lois gets a season 4. I think it would be a huge travesty if it got wasted. So that's why I'm hoping maybe James Gunn and the people at Max are more open to maybe saving Superman and Lois, giving it a season extra, or maybe 2 more seasons extra, because it deserves it. It's that good. And I think Elseworlds projects do have value. And obviously, the Arrowverse doesn't look like it's going pretty much anywhere as of right now because of the end of the Flash. But obviously, this final season of the Flash is going to be a huge thing, and I'm liking it so far. I thought, we had some good episodes, we had some not so good episodes, and Superman and Lois has been top notch throughout this season in its 5 episodes it said so far. So I'm looking forward to more Superman and Lois, more Flash, more DC content in general, and I hope you guys are too, because I think we're in for a treat. But the future is still uncertain in terms of the Arrowverse right now, and we're just really gonna have to wait and see. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys. And once again, want to remind you guys, I will be live streaming next week as usual. I'm gonna have a normal video out tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. Also, if you have any Q&A questions you want to send in, any topics you want me to cover, go to my community tab, because I posted a new Q&A post asking for you guys to give me some questions that you want me to answer on a video. I'll be sure to make a video like that later this week or early next week. But yeah, thank you, Kenneth. I appreciate the kind words. Love you too. Thanks for liking my content. All I can ask you guys is just watch my videos, come back every Wednesday for live stream, and if we do any streams on other days, please be sure to tune in. But yeah, for now, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Kater, I have not watched the last 2 episodes of Titans. I am very far behind, so I should definitely catch up. But yeah, last comment. Kenneth says, I think Superman Legacy will be a mix of Christopher Reeve's film and a modern Superman story. I think I agree. I feel like that's what James Gunn will do. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. Go check out my latest videos. And yeah, see you guys later. Goodbye.